Hello everyone, Larry WD0AKX here, and today I have a DAC Mark 10, a CB radio, believe it or not, in this package from about 1978 or so. We're going to take a look at. I recently acquired this. It does have a problem, but we'll get that fixed here later. But we'll take a look at the unit, and it was made, it's a 40 channel, single sideband. And I do have the complete documentation, which is great, as well as the schematic diagrams and all the alignment data. And the unit was made, let's see here, by M.H. Scott Company. And it's called a DAC, D-A-K, I think you pronounce it DAC, or D-A-K, I guess. And it's a Mark 10 single sideband, 40 channel. And look at those nice meters. I just barely remember seeing this back in the 70s. It's quite a radio. It looks very impressive by all the controls and the features, and especially the large broadcast style meters like you're in a broadcast studio. So let's take a closer look at the radio. The DAC Mark 10 40 channel single sideband AM PLL frequency synthesized two-way radio CB communications transceiver. I do have full owner's manual on it with alignment instructions, and also, which was nice, get a PC board layout and schematic of the complete radio, which is very nice to have. Without this, it would have taken me much longer to troubleshoot my problem here. So I was able to trace it out with the help of these manuals.
Hello, Whiskey American 1 at Chicago, 300 300 Los Angeles, California. Security and standby.
On the front panel, from right to left here, on the bottom, we have the volume control and the squelch control and the RF gain control. This is the signal strength meter up here on top on the right for receive. Channel selector switch, the clarifier, and the mode selector, AM upper sideband or lower sideband, and your mic gain control. And then you have the SWR calibrate and the switch to calibrate, check SWR. And you can, with the second meter here, monitor your RF power output or your plate current on the lower scale, which is unusual for a CB to monitor your plate current, but it does have two finals. And this is the SWR meter. This is a modulation meter, so it's quite interesting with the row of nice looking meters there to monitor everything that's going on. And A&L noise blanker switch on and off. And this is your transmit. You flip it into transmit to otherwise saves on your tubes a little bit if you leave this in the standby mode if you're just going to receive, but if you're ready to transmit, it'll power up the tubes there. So that's controls on the front. There's the internal speaker. And behind that, you see the main power transformer. Needs high voltage because the final output section of this radio is tube type. So we got a tube final section here. And there's a 12 volt DC power supply section for the rest of the radio here. And what they use is a high gain board. It's a common high gain board from a lot of high gain CBs back in the late 70s. Turn that volume down a little. But that is the final output section of the radio. Runs legal power, 4 watts AM, 12 watts sideband.
I'll have to wait until he comes in and keys with you. Lucky girl, Miss Ridiculous Maker Man sitting back. Hey, T-Bird. Hey, T-Bird, one hit is going 10-7-2. Look, got one hit.
And here's a view of the bottom side for you. See the tube section. Tubes on top, the high voltage area, and then the main CB board, the high gain board. And there's a lot of poor looking solder connections on that board. Looks like a lot of it back at that time was probably all hand soldered, or a lot of it was anyhow. And this board was commonly known for cold solder joints, which I did find one, and that got the radio working. It took me a little while to trace out where it was there, but doing a little troubleshooting, and I ended up finding where I was losing voltage and was able to repair that, and it brought the radio back to life. Seems to be working fairly good now. Here's a look at the rear side of the unit. And there's the serial number of this radio. It has a larger speaker jack and terminal for ground connection. And the housing is made in Korea, or possibly the whole unit was made in Korea or assembled there. Here's a little closer look underneath the board, or underneath the radio. This is the high voltage area for the final output. And the bottom of the high gain CB board. As you can maybe see, some of those contacts don't look the greatest. A lot of those contacts had to be reflowed by hand, it looks like, one time after it was made. Maybe the solder flow machine wasn't working the greatest. Now I am going to go ahead and do the alignment that's in the manual on the VCO circuit, and the sideband, the clarifier doesn't seem to be quite centering right in that. So there's alignment points here and right back here for the sideband alignment. Get the upper and lower sideband and clarifier to work right. And this is the VCO area here. And I did check that, and that's within spec, within range, set okay. There's the PLL frequency chip down there. It's on upper 38, or lower 38, excuse me. Sideband and 38. And we'll check out the Super Bowl channel, channel 6. And conditions are very hot today, as you can see on the signal strength meter. S9 signal there constantly here on channel 6. There's so many talking at once, it's just all garbly. The only thing I don't like about the squelch is it has a popping sound every time the squelch goes from closed to open, and that's kind of annoying. I don't know if you can hear it in the mic here or not, but when it's quiet and then when you get a signal, there's kind of a popping noise. Well, I did do some basic alignment on it, according to what the manual had to say. Good thing it came with the manual and the diagrams there. So I'm satisfied now with the settings. I think I'll go ahead and put it back in the cabinet with all those screws. Alright, well, we've got everything back in the housing here. I got it all boxed up, and I did find that problem with the cold solder joint. The transmit and receive was dead when I first got it, but I did trace that out, and once I got that solder joint taken care of, everything came to life on it. But the alignment was off somewhat, especially on sideband. So I went through the alignment procedure in the manual as close as I could. Got everything pretty much back to spec. As far as performance, I don't like that high gain board in there with all the poor soldering in that. And that board was never a really terrific CB as far as I'm concerned. So a rating of 0 to 10 for performance, I'd rate this radio at about a 5. The power is barely up to spec on it. And as far as looks, you gotta say it's a 10. You're not gonna find a CB that looks any better than this, I don't think. With all the fancy meters and nice styling. But I guess it's not gonna be my main radio. It's gonna be more or less for looks and occasional use. I'll stick to my Cobra 148 GTL, I guess, for performance. So there you have it. DAC Mark 10.